Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating economic partnership that, honestly, you might not expect. We're talking about Brazil and Bangladesh, two giants from the global south. And their relationship, well, it might just hold the key to a new way of thinking about global trade. Okay, so let's get right into it. When you think of global trade, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's competition, right? Countries kind of battling it out for the same customers, selling similar stuff. But what happens when two economies are just completely different? I mean, on the surface, you couldn't really pick two more different players. You've got Brazil, this enormous country in South America, just famous for its incredible natural resources. And then you have Bangladesh, a super densely populated nation in South Asia, pretty much known as the world's go-to factory for clothing. They seem to be operating in totally separate universes. Yeah, just think about it. Brazil's whole export game is built on stuff that comes out of the ground. We're talking soybeans, iron ore, crude oil. But Bangladesh, they're all about things made in factories, garments, shoes, pharmaceuticals. They're not even competing for the same shelf space. But here's the twist. What if all those differences aren't a weakness? What if they're actually their greatest strength when you put them together? This is where the story gets really, really cool. The key to unlocking this whole thing is a powerful economic idea called export complementarity. Now, I know it sounds super academic and jargony, but trust me, the idea behind it is incredibly simple. That's it right there. It boils down to this. Their economies fit together like perfect puzzle pieces. One country's major export is the other country's essential import. So it's not a rivalry at all. It's a natural partnership waiting to happen. All right, enough theory. Let's look at the actual data and see how this plays out in the real world, with real products and real money. Just take a look at this table. What's so amazing here isn't what you see, it's what you don't see. There is absolutely zero overlap. Bangladesh's top sellers are all finished goods, things you wear, things you use, and Brazil's, they're the basic building blocks of industry and the food system. And this chart just makes that point so visually clear. It's kind of staggering, actually. A full 97% of what Bangladesh sells to the rest of the world is manufactured goods. It is a true industrial engine. Brazil, as you can see, is the mirror image. It's a commodity and agricultural titan. They're not competitors. They're perfect economic partners. So, to really get a feel for how this incredible synergy works on the ground, let's follow the journey of one single vital product that connects these two continents: cotton. It all starts with this number, over $600 million. That's how much raw cotton Brazil sells to Bangladesh. And you have to understand, this isn't just some random commodity. For Bangladesh, this is the lifeblood of its single biggest industry. The whole process is this beautiful, simple, two-step dance. You have the raw material traveling all the way from fields in South America to these bustling factories in South Asia, where it gets completely transformed. And boom, this is the result, an almost $40 billion export industry. And that massive industry is powered in large part by those raw materials from Brazil. Brazil feeds the pipeline, and Bangladesh turns it into the clothes we see in stores all over the world. And this isn't just a one-off with cotton, not by a long shot. This exact same pattern plays out across other huge sectors. Brazilian sugar ends up in Bangladesh's food products. Brazilian soybeans help with food security. Brazilian oil literally helps keep the lights on in the very factories making those clothes. Okay, so the potential here is obviously massive. You can see it in the numbers. But, potential doesn't just magically turn into trade all by itself. Someone has to actually build the bridge between these two economies. And this is where a key player steps in. The Brazil-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or the BBCI for short. This is the group whose entire purpose is to turn all that theoretical potential into actual, real-world deals and shipments. I mean, just listen to their mission statement. It lays it all out right there. They're not just about moving boxes from one port to another. They're about building deep, genuine partnerships between the two business communities. And this isn't just talk. They're on the ground doing the work. You can think of them as part matchmaker, getting business leaders in the same room, part intelligence agency, sharing all the market data to make things less risky, and part lobbyist, pushing for better policies to make trade even easier. So all of this brings us to the future and why so many people are starting to call this relationship an untapped gold mine. what we're seeing right now is a really important shift. This isn't just a passive opportunity that you can spot in a spreadsheet anymore. No, it's becoming an active, organized commercial strategy, with groups like the BBCI really leading the charge. So, why does any of this matter to the rest of us? Well, the big takeaway is that this model shows international trade doesn't have to be a zero-sum game. By focusing on these complementary strengths, both countries can build much more resilient supply chains, which, let's be honest, is a huge deal for everyone after the last few years. And they create this win-win platform for growth. And that leaves us with one final, pretty big thought. As the entire world rethinks how global supply chains should work, could this model, this coordinated complementarity between Brazil and Bangladesh, actually be the blueprint for a whole new era of trade and cooperation among developing nations? It's a powerful idea and definitely one to watch.